I do believe that Joel Embiid will be back in the next couple of weeks. I cannot see him missing the season. A meniscus tear is not as bad as an ACL, and you can't play on an ACL or an MCL injury. But a meniscus, we've seen players play with torn meniscus. Joel Embiid is still one of the best players in the league. Now, do I believe he should have won the MVP last year? The answer is no. I thought Joker was the best player in the league. This year, it could be Luka Doncic. He's having a really, really good season. He's putting up the numbers. He had a 73-point game. But Joel Embiid missing 4 weeks of basketball, it does hurt his chances of winning back-to-back MVPs, which he just absolutely adores. He should be worried about being the only big man in history that's won an MVP that's never taken his team to an Eastern Conference Finals or a Western Conference Finals. So it tells you that he does not win the big game. But they're not winning right now without Embiid this year. Maxey's having a sensational year. I believe an MVP candidate. He's done everything that Nurse has asked him to do. This defense has played well even without Embiid. The problem is they don't have enough size. Without Joel Embiid, it affects them against the bigger teams and the more athletic teams. And we've seen that over the last week and a half since Embiid has been out. They're falling. They're going to fall. I do not believe they're going to be a play-in team. I think they're going to be between a 6 and a 5 seed. The Knicks are a better team now. Even when Embiid comes back, is he going to be as good as he is with a healthy knee? The answer is no. He's going to wear a knee brace. He's going to play a certain amount of minutes. He's not going to play 40-something minutes with a torn meniscus. This is your franchise player. Embiid is going to be a 30-minute player. They need offense.
Right, especially a lot of their depth veterans that they brought in the James Harden trade, too. A lot of those guys are more defensive specialists. I think Buddy Hield is a perfect fit for them, but Embiid, they really need the size from him. And we've seen in the playoffs, too, Embiid be very streaky. So Nurse has to make sure that they manage the minutes very well with him.
The standings, they're right there. They're right there with the Knicks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks. How long are they going to be able to hold up without Joel Embiid? Joel Embiid has been everything to this team and this organization since his knee surgery. And they got rid of Ben Simmons. They got rid of Doc Rivers. And this team has actually played very well under Nurse. And he didn't want to play under Nick Nurse. As a matter of fact, there were stories coming out when they brought Nick Nurse in that he wanted to be traded that offseason. But he has done wonders for this team. This team is playing better team defense. I like Nick Nurse. He's one of the more underrated coaches in the NBA. Does this team have enough without a guy like Joel Embiid to win, to be a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference? I don't think so.
Very hard for them to be able to do well in the playoffs as that lower seed. I know we saw Miami last year as an 8 seed, but they're the only team. They're the exception to the rule. Otherwise, you don't see a below top 3 seed go to the NBA Finals, besides Miami, who did it as a 5 and did it as an 8. Every other team that's won a championship is a 1, 2, or 3 seed, so they're not going to be that anymore, especially with the way the Knicks have played. Cleveland's been hot. It's going to be very hard.
Maxey is restricted free agent this offseason, and there'll be a team, they can't offer him a max contract like the 76ers can, but why would he stay over there with the Sixers if he knows Joel Embiid is not going to be there probably in the next 2 or 3 years? And Joel has already come out and said if this team doesn't start to win, he might look elsewhere to win somewhere else. So obviously it's all about money, but there'll be teams lining up for a guy like Maxey because he's a fantastic talent, young, and he could do everything. He can rebound. He's become a better defensive player this year, and this team's played through him, which who would have thought that a 3-year player who's 23 years old has transformed his game into a number 1 superstar in this league. Maxey is a free agent, and he's one of Paul's guys, and he sat down with the Knicks, and LeBron James, I don't want him. They had to fix that relationship with Rich Paul. They did do that, and now you have a chance to make a run for Maxey. Now Rich Paul could say, hey, my client would love to come and play with Jalen Brunson. My client would love to come and play with your organization because we'll have a chance to win a championship. And I think the same thing with LeBron James. LeBron James brought Rich Paul into the league, gave him his first client, which was LeBron James,